Good early afternoon. We are live. We have a house full of people here in the studio today. It is Thursday. Is it Thursday? No, it's Tuesday. We have music again. Okay, it's still Tuesday. Man, I don't know where I am half the time. That is not what you just saw there was not a mistake. That's like a constant state of being for me. I don't know where I am half the time. I don't know what day it is. I don't know what time it is. It's just like keep my head down, keep going. Oh man, Henry Bollick. Helen, I'm sorry. Say, golly. And you're from Hickory. Is that Hickory, North Carolina? I wonder. Bonnie Cates, Nix from Kentucky, Connie Couch. How are you? I'm fine. Sandy Wilson. Hey, Andy. Hey, Sandy. How are you doing? We're here at, the Wisdom Harbor Studios. If you're here for the first time, Heather Olson, you're not here for the first time, but you have shared. I really appreciate that. Marcy Cross Taylor. Hey, from Pasco, Washington. Cool and sunny. It's cool and sunny here. It's not really that cool. It was cool this morning, but now that the sun's out, it's not cool anymore. But we're here at Wisdom Harbor Studios at the Wharf in beautiful downtown Orange Beach. Is there a downtown here? There's really not. It's not like a courthouse square or anything. I don't think beach towns really have downtowns, because it's like everything is centered on the beach. Beach towns is the only, are towns that begin on the water. It's an odd thing, because normal towns, they start at some crossroads or some, something, and they spread out from there. But water towns, they start on the water and they build in from there. And they always reach a point where the land is not worth anything and nobody wants to live on it. And so we have here in Orange Beach, that process has been going on for 50, 60, 80 years. And so here in between Orange Beach and Gulf Shores, if you look at us on Google Earth, that would be the greatest hunting property right in the middle, because there's the canal and the Gulf of Mexico and the lagoon and all that, and all this stuff, everything's built on. Well, there is, I don't know, 150 acres, 200, 300 acres of land that is just woods right in there, and it has deer, hogs, everything in there. And I will admit that we used to bow hunt in there. I will also admit that a few years ago, the boys were in junior high school, and somebody said they saw a bear. And the word got out, oh, we've seen a bear, we've seen a bear. And the wildlife people came, and they looked, and they examined, and they searched, and then they had the press conference to announce that there is no bear here. But the boys and I had a trail cam picture of that bear. He was 150 yards behind the keg, and it was a big bear. But we've got the trail cam picture. If you get me my cell phone, which I think is on my desk, I think I can show you that picture. Rhonda Klein from sunny Atlanta. Hey, Andy and Matt. That one year we had trail cam pictures of 3 big bucks that we were wanting to deer hunt. Well, I guess if you're hunting bucks, you would be deer hunting. But we had these 3 big bucks on trail cam, and those are the ones we were targeting. And I remember taking the boys to school. Austin was in the 6th grade, and we'd been hunting those bucks. Okay, so you want me to airdrop it to you? I will do that. All right, let me just find it real quickly. But we had been hunting those bucks, and one day we were on the way to school one morning, and we looked, and they're on 161, just south of the police station. There was one of them laying on the road, and we got out and looked, and it's like, oh my God, that's one of the 3 deer. And so then a week went by, the second one got hit by a car, and we're like, and then the third one got hit by a policeman, all within 2 weeks. So they are crammed in here, as you can imagine. Okay, where is the bear? Where is the bear? There he is. Okay, I'm gonna airdrop this to Matt, and Matt will put it up on the screen for you. Okay, Matt, you got it. Put that on silence. Okay. Kevin Perkins is here. Kevin Perkins, old man. We've got an interesting show. What? Oh, it's there. There's the bear. That was our trail cam picture of the bear. That's a pretty big bear for there not to be a bear. But we just kept our mouth shut. Didn't tell anybody. You know, before the boys were ever born, Polly woke me up one night and said, come here, I need you to see something. So I was like, okay. I was like 2 o'clock in the morning. She takes me into the bathroom. We look out the bathroom window down into a flower bed. And she said, what is that? And I looked, and I said, what do you think it is? And she said, I asked you. Well, I'm looking, and I'm really trying to put a tail on that thing to make it a big Labrador Retriever. You know, you're snuffling in the flower bed. And so I opened the window just a little bit, and when the window cracked, you know how like a dog or something would go. But this animal went totally still when that window cracked. We watched for another couple of minutes, and I said, hey. And when I said hey, that thing disappeared, man. He was gone. And so Lady Polly said, was that a bear? She said, I thought so. We were like, that was a bear. And then we immediately thought, we can't tell anybody this. They'll think we were drunk. You know, I mean, a bear? And we live on we're on a little island. You know, it's not a little island. It's got a bunch of houses. It's just a neighborhood that's on an island. And, but the fact is, it's on an island. And so we didn't say anything about it. And then like maybe a couple of months later, on the front page of the paper, a color picture. Somebody had gotten a great picture of a bear swimming Wolf Bay, and they'd gotten their boat right up next to it and taken that picture of that bear. And so we're like, it's a bear and they swim. Okay, so we saw a bear. And that's all the bear stories I have for you today. Thank Sean. Hey, this is Buzz from Gemstone Productions. Hey, buddy, how are you doing? I'll be darned. We got a lot of people joining in from all over the world here today. Any new ones, Matt? Let's see, we've got Martin Simmons, Dave Huco, Martin Simmons from the Andy Griffith River and Watchers Club, Billy Roberts Paget, Tuesday in Destin. It is Tuesday here too. Dadgummit. Chloe McDonald, hi from Washington. Joe Olson, hey buddy. Pat Donald from Texas. Lori Robb from Orlando. Christina Cochran from Vienna, Illinois. Who else? Brenda, Dyersburg, Tennessee. And just a bunch of people. And we're so glad you guys are here. We want to, there is an oddity about me that I don't know that I've ever talked about. Because, as you know, I could have talked for a couple of thousand days and not covered all my oddities. But I have this thing that Polly gripes about sometimes. Because she says, everything doesn't have to be symmetrical. And I kind of disagree. I'm like, no, if you put one tree on one side of this door, you need to put another tree on the other side of this door. No, if you're going to put white Christmas lights up on this side of the house, don't put orange ones on this. It's got to, things have to just kind of to flow. If you got a fireplace, think about this. They don't sell one bookend. You got two of them for a reason. And so things that are not symmetrical catch my eye. And some of them really bug me. Some of them just bug me. Him too? Yeah. I wonder if that's a guy thing. I don't know. Is it a guy thing or no, you got that too? Okay, all right, y'all. All right, good. We got a whole studio audience full of people that are going to hate these pictures. Okay, so we've collected some pictures. Some of them are just like poor work. We've got 38 pictures that we collected. And some of them are just bad jobs done by people. This is people that's like, what are you thinking, But then some of them, I don't know if it was necessity or what, but I want you to, as you're going through these, I will tell you which one at the end, but I want you to go through these and face them off, the last one with the next one, so that you can determine when we get to the end which one you hated the most. Okay? Which one bothered you more than any of them? And if maybe they could have a piece of paper to write down, so you can keep track and so you can press it up to the window to me when we're through and I can tell everybody. But you guys at home play this game too. So here is our first non-symmetrical photograph. Now, is that wide enough, Matt? That picture wide enough? Because what it is, I don't think we can see that. That is a picture of a TV screen with stuff in front of it. It's like somebody's watching TV, but they've got a vase of flowers here, and a big book standing up right here. I don't know if we can see. Can we see that? I don't think we can. So maybe this one doesn't make you that mad. But I see people doing that all the time. I see people watching something and they're looking through. And you know what? When I speak, it bothers me to look at an audience that has flowers there and reserve. Just like when I walked out here today and I looked at you guys, you were behind this post. And the first thing I did was, get over to where you can see. Don't. And I don't know if it bothered you, but it bothered me. Looking at half of you there. Okay, let's look at the next one. That is somebody's screen. That just bugs me to see. That just it bugs me. There should not be that many tabs on the screen. Okay, let's see another. What am I looking at there?
That's the fortune cookie.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't see it all the way in there. So I think the message correlates with the symmetry very badly. All right, next. But I do wish I'd gotten that. Okay, the machine's cutting them in the wrong place. Anybody noticing this? This is quality control here. We've got a quality control problem in the candy bar factory. Next. This used to bug me in school when a teacher would not totally erase the board and then write over it. I just want to scream. I mean, that just drives me nuts. And people on a whiteboard with all the little black pieces on that you were kind of half erased, and then they keep going. It's like, come on. Okay, I know I'm showing all my weirdness. All right, now that is city planning. So that is a drone shot or a Google shot of a town that they were halfway through planning, halfway through building, and went, nah, let's don't do it this way. Isn't that bizarre? All right, next. How about that? Now, wouldn't you like to know what is the reason for that? I mean, because you can't. Would somebody have put that up thinking that was where it was supposed to go? Did somebody put it up there because it was the only place it could go because the brace was up there, and then the people who did the nice looking stuff didn't build it around the brace? Either way, somebody was real stupid there. And you know that whoever built that house got into it with them. You know they did, because you know the person who did that. So I was just doing what I was told to do. I was just building where. Yeah, I mean that's where you told me. But really, I told you to put it where the chandelier would hang away from it. Really, that's what I told you. Well, we stand behind our work, but that's just, it's like you can just hear it, can't you? Can't you hear it? Connie Couch guy says, measure once, cuss twice. Okay, what do we got next? Now, I had to look at this for a second, but once I got it, I realized I would not want to be walking up and down those stairs in my house. I would take a hacksaw and do it myself. Do you see? There's one of those posts that is upside down. And can't you see the contractor going in to the sub and going, did you go to sleep? Did you? I mean, there's where you don't have to ask, are you on drugs? Because you know they are. You know they're on drugs. I mean, I don't even have to ask, are you on drugs? You're on drugs. Look at this. Good grief. I'm getting worked up just looking at these pictures. All right. Now, that's the elevator. Now, see, you don't just blame the person who did that. You blame the person who proofed it. You blame the person who printed it. You blame the person who screwed it in the elevator. I mean, this is just like not paying attention, man. All right, what do we got next? All right, this one, I don't get. And I mean, are these panels of these things that are laid down on the floor? I mean, surely that's not somebody doing individual tiles. Those are like panels from a flooring place, right? And so, did that happen in India or wherever they make those panels? Or did some bozo from Alabama go, I think a good little spirograph circle would go right here real good. And somebody just made their own decision, their own decorating decision. I don't know. I don't know. But I will tell you, if I had to walk across that every day, that'd be the only thing I'd see. All right, next. Really? Really? That's how we're going to put together the induction stove. That's what that is, because the white circle tells you where to place your pan, and then the red is where the heat is actually being generated. I don't even know what to say about that. It looks like a partial eclipse of the induction stove. All right, what do we got next? Really? Why would you do that? I think it's somebody who thought that was arty. And you know what the boss told him? The boss told him, you lay bricks for a living, Phil. You're not Picasso. And so, you know, we pay you by the hour here, and because you wanted to be cute, you're billing us 3 extra hours. Because you had to cut the brick on the left, you had to cut the 2 bricks on the left, the 2 bricks on the right. You had to cut a brick below to get it to fit. And so you're charging us 3 extra hours to do this. And what we asked for was a brick wall. We didn't say, figure out something you can do that looks odd with it. If you could put something odd in there, something that something that would disturb the owner of the brick wall. If you could do that, it'd be worth paying you an extra 3 hours. We did not say that, Phil. We said, lay a brick wall right here. I think this goes under the category of what were they thinking? Because even if the owner asked for that, what were they thinking? Because, he could have said, Phil, what are you doing? And Phil said, she came out here and told me she wanted a brick laid kind of cattywampus. And the contractor said, Phil, this is taking so much more time. He said, I know, but she's been out here 5 times to make sure I'm doing it. I mean, you can just see many scenarios happening here. But whatever happened, that wall is bothersome. Okay, what do we got next? And you know what that is, don't you? That is a manhole cover. And somebody told their boss, so they were driving away, and the boss said, did somebody put the manhole cover back on? And Phil said, I did. I put it back on. And nobody ever thought, did you put it back on straight, Phil? Let me think about that. Because I might have put it on backwards. I just wasn't looking. I did it with my eyes closed. I guess. All right. Now, you're making a series of books. You're a major publisher, and you're publishing a series of books. And anytime they publish, the Noticer, the Notice of Returns, and Just Jones, they want them to look nice together. They want them to look nice on your bookshelf together. So, who did that? Even though, let me just tell you, having personal experience with publishing companies, I can totally believe that. The only thing that is not believable about that is that the bigger letters aren't purple and sideways. That's the only thing that if a real publisher. All right, so next. At some point, don't you just repave the road? I mean, that is enough patches that the mayor should be recalled. I mean, at some point, don't you just say, just resurface this? But I guess somebody say, well, a couple more years, it will be resurfaced. We'll have it all. We'll get it all. All right, next. What's the deal? I mean, if you can't look at the plans and figure out what that's going to look like, can't you figure it out as it's being built? I mean, as it's being built, don't you walk out to the street and look at it and go, oh, this is going to look great. I don't know. Next. That would drive me insane. Driving by that billboard, I wouldn't eat that pizza. I wouldn't go to their restaurant on a bet. If you don't know how to cut a pizza, what makes me think you're going to know how to cook one? I mean, really, that looks like, hey, our company, we want to we want to keep it a family thing. And so I know we're doing this big ad campaign, and we want our whole family to be a part of it. And so I know that I came up with the pizza recipes, and Mom actually cooks them sometimes. But we have a 3-year-old that we would like to cut the pizza for this ad campaign. If we could just get the 3-year-old just give him a knife and let him have at it. And so then we can use that as like a family thing. It looks like a 3-year-old cut it, doesn't it? I would not like to see that. Billboards can kind of get me. Like, I gotta say, I don't know Andrew Shannara, but I way too much know what he looks like. And if you're not from around here, just keep your eyes open as you drive, because the guy has 500 billboards with his picture. And there is a punctuation error on it, because the big thing says, "Call me Alabama." That's what he means. That's what, "Call me Alabama," but there's no comma. It is not "Call me Alabama." It's "Call me Alabama." Okay, Alabama. Okay, you're Alabama. Alabama, Shannara. Call me Alabama. Okay, you're Alabama. I don't know why you'd put up 500 billboards with a mistake on it. But there you go. There's one up in Foley, in between Foley and here, that really bugs me. And it's a picture of a guy holding a cell phone, and it says, "Don't be distracted while driving." And I always think, I wasn't until I looked at your sign. It's like, don't be, what? Ping! Really? Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Okay, so here's the billboard. And a billboard like that one right there, everybody would see that. Everybody, people would be talking about, did you see the billboard where they let the 3-year-old cut the pizza? If you say, "Oh yeah, I've seen that." They've got 4 of them. They're here, they're here. Everybody would say, everybody would be talking about it. Now, a couple of years ago, we had 4 billboards for 4 months about Wisdom Harbor Studios. Do you know how many people came in here and said, "Hey, we saw about Wisdom Harbor Studios on a billboard"? You know how many? 4 full-size billboards, 4 months each. 0. I mean, 0. Not one. Matt, next time we decide to do billboards, just hit us in the head. Okay? Or have us misspell a word. Yeah, if we misspell a word, maybe people would have. Like Don Hebert says, "I don't know what show I've just come across, but it's great." We're glad to have you here, Don. We are the Blue Plate Special. I'm Andy Andrews, and we're broadcasting live from Orange Beach, Alabama, Wisdom Harbor Studios. And we do this on Tuesdays at 12:15. We do this on Thursdays at 12:15, and it broadcasts just to wisdomharbor.com. But on Tuesdays, it broadcasts everywhere. All right, let's see what else we got. Okay, now, is it not common knowledge that red is stop, it's off, and the green is go? It's okay. So somebody said, let's just throw them a curveball. Let's just make them think about it every time they press this button. No, okay. Let's just give them an extra couple of seconds of work in here, of brain energy, just to have to go against everything they've learned their entire life. God almighty. Okay, what do we got next? You see the end of the page there? That's at the end of every page in that notepad. That's on every. So somebody decided to get artistic. Somebody decided to get cute, and somebody said, let's just do that off to the side a little bit. And then somebody said, that's a great idea. It's like, do you see people dressed, and you look and go, how did you decide to wear that? I mean, what were you thinking? But see, I always take that a step further, because I think some people just don't know. But we've all got friends, okay? So I don't blame the person. I blame the friend who said, that looks good on you. Really? Yeah, that looks good on you. Next. I don't understand how a builder does this, but I know I would not be happy with it. And I can't you hear the conversation between the homeowner and the builder? And the homeowner takes the contractor into the kitchen, or the little utility room, and he says, this is what the homeowner says. I don't even know what to say. That's what he says. I don't even know what to say. What's going on here? And the contractor says, well, we had to fix some of the, some of it's not square. It's not square, so we had to fix it in a way that it wouldn't be real noticeable. That's not noticeable to you? You don't think that's noticeable? Did you think about making something square before you built this? Well, we thought it was a good, a good alternative to starting over. Now, why wouldn't you start over? Well, we didn't want to charge you twice for the same work. Oh, really? You would have charged me to start over? Well, it's an hourly job for these subcontractors. Okay, so now wait a minute. So you're going to charge me an hourly rate to do it wrong. Then you're going to charge me an hourly rate to tear it out. Then you're going to charge me an hourly rate to do it correctly. Why don't you just tear down the whole place and get paid twice? I mean, you can just hear it, can't you? Can't you just hear, well, we just didn't think it was that big a deal. No, it's probably not that big a deal to you because you're not married to the woman I'm married to. I mean, I'm the one that's got to deal with my wife coming in here and say, that's stupid. You know. Okay. It does look like it would be uncomfortable to stand there to wash dishes, doesn't it? Okay, next. What is that? What does that say, Matt? I can't see it.
It says, don't be afraid to ask dumb questions. They're faster to handle than dumb mistakes. But in a very silly font.
Yeah, that's that font. I think people get so arty with their font that you can't read it. And that drives me crazy too on, you know, billboards or signs or logos for businesses, you know, that you can't read the name of the business. Or they'll have the name of the business and you go, like, what is that? You know, it's like, having a name of a business, Phillips Place. Is it a restaurant? Is it the place that sells specialized screwdrivers? What? You know, is it a house owned by somebody named Philip? I don't know, you know? And it's like, gosh, I was looking for a restaurant and I didn't even know that was one. So, all right, next. What do we got there? I'm having a hard time seeing these from in here.
Staples, or a staple through a stack of...
Oh, yeah. You see how somebody stapled that and they didn't click them together before they stapled it? That person gets fired. Here, in Wisdom Harbor Studios, that person gets fired. I mean, we hadn't had to fire anybody for that, but they I think everybody knows here that's a firing offense. And the reason is not necessarily because you don't want to look at the ragged edges. The reason is because what else is being done this way? You know, what else is being hurried through? What else is... It's just like, if you go into a fast food restaurant, I think you could watch somebody build a sandwich and you could tell if you wanted them working for you or not. Because I was watching somebody the other day, I was just looking through while I was waiting on the food, and I saw this guy. The buns are out here, and the mustard and the ketchup, and the pickles and the meat, and like the bun is this big, the meat is over here, the mustard and the ketchup are up here, and all the pickles are here, and I'm like, is that how you would make a sandwich for yourself? I mean, if you were making a sandwich for yourself, is that how you do it? Okay, so why are you gonna accept money to make sandwiches for somebody else and do way less than your best? I think, you know, Jones told me one time that people drop leaves just like trees. He said, you know, you can go into a forest and you never even look up, and you don't have to look up to see what kind of tree you're under. You just pick up a leaf, and Couple of leaves will tell you all you need to know, because you can tell it. And is this an oak? Is it a sweet gum? Is it an old tree? Is it a young tree? Is it sick? Is it healthy? Is it fall? Is it winter? Is it spring? Is it summer? There's a lot you can tell, and you don't even have to look up. People are like that too. People drop leaves. And you don't have to know the whole person you can just check out a couple of leaves. And some of the biggest corporate mistakes, all right, let me say, some of the biggest corporate disasters I have ever seen have been because people didn't pay attention to leaves somebody else was dropping. You know, when they tell you who they are, believe them the first time. People tell you who they are by the leaves they drop. When they tell you who they are, they're telling you who they are without being watched carefully. They're telling you who they are. That's their character. And so when they tell you who they are, believe them the first time. All right, what's next? Now, if you're just going to reach for the pepper, which color container are you going to reach for? You're just going to reach for the salt. So what bozo said, okay, I'll tell you what let's do. In all the stoplights in our town, let's make green stop. Let's make red go. And in all the restaurants, the black containers will hold the salt and the white containers will hold the pepper. What do you think? I mean, that's just the most ridiculous thing. And I suppose it's an arty kind of... I mean, that was definitely an arty decision. Do you think? No? No? What, you think that was like a decision made by an accounting person? That's what you do? Come tell me what she's saying, Julie, because now I'm confused. Now we have a contrarian in the audience.
She said made in China.
Well, that explains everything, doesn't it? Made in China. She says it was made in China. Why do you say money? Why did money have... I can't understand. We got to get microphones out here. This is driving me crazy. I've got honest, hardworking, brilliant people out here, and I can't hear a word they're saying.
They make their mistakes with cheap labor.
They make their mistakes with cheap labor. Is there any other kind of labor in China? I don't know. It took some smart people to pull a global pandemic out of one laboratory. Yeah, it's hard not to laugh at that, isn't it? But, you know, China. Huh. That would not have occurred to me. I don't think. I mean, I can hear the conversation. Brack is salt, right? Salt, the brack one? Brack is salt. White pepper? Why does pepper? Brack is salt. Sure. And there you go. Okay, what do we got? What am I looking at, Matt?
It's another ceiling fan.
Oh, yeah. How would you like to wake up and see that every morning? You know, at a hunting camp we go to, there's a, you know, they've got that heart pine ceiling. You know, it has the kind of the waves of wood grain and all. And when I look above the bed, there is one of them that looks like Casper the Friendly Ghost. It's just that perfect outline. And, you know, if God knows everything, which he does, then I can imagine that 50 years ago when that tree was being grown, God said, I'm going to put Casper the Friendly Ghost in this tree. And 50 years from now, I'm going to freak out a full-grown man every time he opens his eyes. I think that was God's. It's just a little joke God plays, because I mean, I think God has a sense of humor, and I think, you know, God grabbed the Holy Ghost and Jesus and said, "Hey, watch this. Watch this. I've been working on this one for 40 years. Just watch it when he lays down. Just watch the recognition when he lays down." Kevin Perkins says, yeah, especially after I drew eyes on it. Yeah. All right, what do we got next? Really? I mean, nobody has a ruler here. Nobody has a plumb line. That's the best you can do on those windows. I'd be scared the building would fall over. I'd be scared. What else have they gotten wrong? Okay, next. Who sliced that? A 3-year-old? Well, she's good at slicing pizza, so let her try this. Next. What am I looking at there, Matt?
It's kind of like a garage door that was made straight, but the building's angled.
Yeah. I mean, I don't believe that was on purpose. I can't believe that was on purpose. But it's almost like, have you seen the Ripley's Believe It or Not buildings? The Ripley's building, there's one in Orlando that's done that way. It looks like it's leaning, but it's not really leaning. By the way, I think Robert Ripley was a genius. And let me tell you why I think he was a genius. I read an interview with him late in his life, and I thought, to have built an empire with this idea is incredible. And what they asked him, they said, "Hey, Jen Andrews," they said, "Hey, Wendy from South Alabama," they asked him, they said, "Man, what are the odds that you in your lifetime would have found this many things that really were and really happened and were so odd, and you know, to find that many things that, you know, that the reality of the oddities, and it's just amazing that we'd come up with that collection." He said, "Well, I never said they were true." I'm like, "What?" He said, I just said, believe it or not. I never said it was true. I just said, there it is, believe it or not. That's brilliant. That has a smattering of hucksterism, uh, a smattering of humbug. You know, it's that P.T. Barnum thing. It has a smattering of that. I didn't say it was true. I just said, believe it or not. You know, I was in Russia, and in a city in Russia, they had a Ripley's thing too. It's believe it or else. I'm just kidding. Okay, what next? What is that, Matthew?
It's like 10 or 11, 12 mailboxes, and they're not all.
Oh yeah,
number
yeah.
4.
Yeah, and they lined them up 1, 2, 3, 4, but they had to put the. I mean, that is a drunk 10th grader in shop class. I'm thinking that put that together. Okay, what do we got next? What is it, Matt?
It's a whole bunch of like light fixtures coming out of a ceiling.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that just looks weird. I mean, use some fluorescent long bulbs at this point. You know, don't make me walk into a room and see all those. All right, next. What is that, Matt?
It's a urinal.
The urinal, yeah. I don't even understand how that would happen unless Phil was working on that and they told Phil, they said, Phil, you have the honor of putting in the first urinal. You get to put in the first one, buddy. So set us up, get us started. And Phil went in and put in the middle one first. And after that they were like, Phil, what the hell are you doing? Phil, are you kidding me? And Phil said, well, you know, I always feel strange going into a bathroom and having my back to the door. You know, Wild Bill Hickok was shot because he had his back to the door. And so I always thought that it would be better to be able to just keep an eye on things. Well, thank you, Phil. We appreciate that, but we're going to have to go with the back. By the way, when Wild Bill Hickok, you know, he never would play poker with his back to the door. But on the last day of his life, he went in and there's a game already going, and he, for whatever reason, I mean, he would literally tell people, move, you know, you move around. I'm not sitting there, I'm sitting there. And he would move, but for whatever reason, he did not move him that day. And somebody came in the door and shot him in the back. And when everything settled down, naturally they wanted to see what his cards were. And he had aces and eights. And from that moment on, aces and eights has been called the dead man's hand. Little trivia from your Uncle Andy. Okay, what do we got next? What is that?
It looks like it used to be a bike lane or parking spot or something, and then when they repaved it, they just put all the bricks not back in order or something. I don't know.
Just another example of somebody doing a crappy job and not thinking about it. Next. What do we got here?
That one, you probably have to look real close on your screen, but it's a completely straight edge, but there is a tiny little square or
Yeah.
triangle sticking out.
Yeah, these are two floors that came together. And if you can see, there was a little left over of the red. And instead of cutting it off, they just tagged it down in there. You see that? That is the kind of thing that would drive me nuts. That is, it's not the big things, it's these little bitty things that would drive me nuts. Next. That's just somebody. Well, the machine's out of order. No worries, Phil says. I can do it by hand. I can paint these stripes by hand. Well, thank you, Phil. All right, next. Why? Just tell me why. And right there, Phil was proud of that. He got his boss and he said, "Hey, look at this." And his boss said, "Why, Phil? Why?" I just thought it looked cool. Phil, you lay bricks for a living. You're not an interior designer, and this is not even interior. Okay, so Phil, I want you to get a hacksaw and cut that off. You can bet that didn't last. They cut that off with a saw. I hope. Next. What is this?
It's little tiles at a train station, and toward the bottom you can see that there is one orange in the yellow.
One orange. I see it. One orange in the yellow. Now there's a contractor looking and going, what the hell? Well, we didn't have enough yellow. You couldn't order one? You couldn't paint it? I mean, sand it and paint it. But you got this wonderful design and everybody's eye is going to that one mistake. That one bad spot. Next. That's one of those things that somebody's contractor told them that had to be there. And they did their best to disguise it. But for whatever reason, they were told it had to be there. Now, do I think it had to be there? No, I don't think it needed to be there. I think somebody told somebody it needed to be there. But I think there's always an answer. But you can bet that the homeowner said, "Now wait a minute, is this like a place like in my dining room where this is going to jut out from the wall and be the size of a concrete block?" And yeah, there's nothing else you can do. No, there's nothing else you can do. It has to be there. It has to be there. There's nothing we can do. It's the only choice we have. It can't be done any other way. There was one time I wanted a koi pond. Ooh, man, we're running out of time. I've got an appointment in 11 minutes. But I was going to build a koi pond, and I wanted it outside my office where I could see, like out these windows, there's just this concreted area that we didn't ever use. And I thought, I'm going to build a little pond right there. So I call the people who build little ponds. And this guy came out, and he's the owner of the company. And he looks and he says, well, we need to find another place for it because you can't build a pond here. Okay, all right. So you can't build a pond here. And I'm like, I can't? No, you can't build one here. We need to find another place. I don't want it another place. I want it right outside the window of my office, right here. Well, you can't build one here. Why can't you build one here? Well, because it's already concreted. You know, you got the concrete there, and the concrete is the foundation of the house, and you can't destroy that or dig through that, and so you can't build a pond there. I said, okay. I understand you can't build a pond there. I got that. But I'm gonna lay another scenario out for you. Let's say that you and I worked for Walt Disney. And we come here and Walt Disney says, I want a pond right there. And we say to Walt Disney, well, you can't build a pond there. And Walt Disney says, let me tell you something. I'm leaving town for a week, and when I come back, I want a pond there, or you're both fired. At that point, I think we would probably figure out how to put a pond in there. Now, here's my question for you. I know you can't build a pond here, but if you had to build a pond here, how would you do it? And he looked around. He said, well, I would probably get sandbags. I'd fill sandbags, and I'd make sandbags, build them up the shape of the pond that we wanted. And then I would take rubber liner and lay it down in there and have it folded over the sandbags. Then we take rocks. We trim the rubber liner along the sandbags. Then we take rocks and lay them on top of the sandbags and rocks all up around the sides, and then rocks in the pond, and you'd never see the rubber liner, you'd never see the sandbags, and we'd have a pond. And I said, do that. And got a koi pond. But people are quick to go, it can't be done. All right, next. How is that? You just think, is this what the blueprints had? Okay, next. There's someone getting a little bit over, just a little overdoing it. Next.
Well, that's the last one.
That's the last one? Okay. So which one made you the maddest? Which one? Okay, let me see. Let me see what you got. The crooked counter chandelier, the tile floor, the crooked chandelier, the stairs. Yeah, oh yeah. What else? Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? I think you can. The chandelier and the sink, the blackboard stairway, the brick drum. A lot of them pissed you off, didn't they? Okay, let's see the sink. Nobody is putting up the one that bugged me the most. The chandelier, stair post, tile floor, paper staple, brick in the wall, the sink. Yeah. You know what bugged me the most? was the pizza on the billboard. Because I could just see me driving by that and just commenting to Polly while I'm on the phone, driving by that stupid pizza thing. Where are you? I'm a mile away from that stupid pizza billboard. Saw that stupid pizza billboard today. Y'all just come in from out of town? Next time I'm driving to Foley, look and see this stupid pizza. It would just infect me, you know. Marcy Coster Taylor said the chandelier or the manhole cover or the sink. Jason said the chandelier or the pizza. Jason, man after my own heart. Yeah. But the chandelier too. Now, are you talking about the crystal one, or the one you wake up to? Karen says the kitchen flop. Yeah, that weird kitchen setup, that gave a lot of you guys the heebie-jeebies. I mean, that's one of those kind of things. Oh. And I think we've all probably had people come in and do something in our house that's kind of like that. So, I'll tell you one story, and then we'll go. I had a guy doing some just handyman stuff at my house, and I left for a day, and there were two things that I told him to do. One, I wanted caps on these pylons, and they're just like round rubber caps that make it look nicer, not so much like a piling. And so I had like 8 or 10 of them, and I said, why don't you just put these on the top of these pylons, and and they have one screw hole here, one screw hole here. I said, the only thing is I want them straight. You know, it's a cone on top of a pylon. I just want them straight. Now, that would seem to be, that kind of, you would think that goes without saying. But I've dealt with people for a long time, so I went ahead and said it. You know, I want them straight. And then I took him to a little cubby hole under the house that has it's this little storage area, and it has a swinging door and one of those kind of latches, a screen door latch kind of thing, you know, has the ring and then the little, you know what I'm talking about? Okay. So I said, if you could just put this brass latch on this door. So I come back the next day. And I went and got him. I called and said, hey, can you stop by? So he stops by. I take him to the pylons, and I say, do you remember the one thing that I asked you to pay attention to on these pylons? Do you remember the one thing? You said you wanted them straight. That's right. Do those look straight to you? And they're like this. I said, do those look straight to you? He said, no, I'll get them. I'll straighten them up. I said, no, that's okay. I said, let me show you something else. So the door is open because when you try to close it, the latch is like, it's an inch away from the ring. So I said, close that door and latch it for me. So he closes it. Oh, it doesn't fit, does it? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. He said, well, I'll fix this. I said, no. Don't.
Okay.
I said no, and Siri said, okay. Quit talking to me. So I said, no, you don't need to fix it. He said, I don't. I said, no, I don't think I need you around here anymore because I am uncomfortable with what you think of me. He said, what does that mean? I said, well, I don't need anybody around here who thinks I'm stupid. He said, well, I don't think you're stupid. I said, well, here, let me tell you how I come to this conclusion. I said, I want them straight. They aren't straight. I said, just put this on now. Putting it like this, I think either he is stupid, and I don't think you are. I don't think you're stupid. But my conclusion is either he is too stupid to put this on like this, or he thinks I'm stupid. Because he put this on and goes, he'll never notice that. And so because you think I'm too stupid to notice that, I'm going to go a different direction. I was very calm when I said it, but I was so mad. It's like, are you serious? Taking 2 days out of my life to do this? But it's nice to see we aren't the only ones. Somebody else is dealing with this, and there's the... Matt, did you just put that up there just to piss me off again? Just as we end the show, just one more time to look at that and imagine what my life would be like if I had to drive by it every day, like Alabama Shannara. Call me Alabama. Okay, you're Alabama. We'll see you Thursday. Bye-bye.